So we've gone over to Hounslow Heath and it was a pexing hot day. So we're sitting there. I said, bro, this is divine medicine. He's like, whatever, bruv. I started smoking it. I goes, bro, it's not like smoking weed, you know, but he's smoking it and he's hit the zone. Bing! I've took the DMT off him. I started smoking it because we're still tourists at this time. And then I heard a voice. They started channeling through me. And it was a vibrational language I was not familiar with. So it wasn't about me. After the confusion had died down a piece, someone over this part of the experience said, oi, shut your Jamaican mouth. And then the woman came back and said, what? You don't think we've got a sense of humor as well? Because people don't normally associate humor with spirituality. It's cool. It's very like, very zen. So we had a ceremony, yeah? And then during the ceremony, the divine said she lost 3 babies. 3. This girl was crying
her eyes
out, like a release. And then she goes, I've had 2 losses. She sobs again and said, sorry, I've had 3 losses.
Viewer discretion is advised, plus 18, content is mentioned in areas within this podcast, just to let you guys know. So let's go! Welcome back to my second episode of HUSHED. There we go. God, we need to get used to that. Today I have a very, very special guest. I've already had the pleasure of meeting him, but you guys will know all about that in a second. We have Dr. J. Soul Surgeon.
How you doing? You're right. Well, how you doing, Shannon?
I'm good, Bob. How are you?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I'm very glad to have you on this episode. So this, I think I mentioned in the last episode, this podcast is going to be all about DMT, psychedelics, plant medicine. You guys are going to get to know very soon that I'm a big advocate for all of these things. And I sometimes like to leave planet Earth, which I don't think that's a bad thing. But we're going to get into what Dr. J. Soul Surgeon does. And I don't know about you guys, but the name just makes me warm and fuzzy anyway. I love it. But just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what you do and why you do it.
Okay, so I'm Dr. J. Soul Surgeon. So the term soul surgeon is a neo-shamanic term for shaman.
Yeah.
And so for the last 7 years, I've been a DMT shaman. So DMT is a medicine that I've worked with.
God, I know about that, don't I? When did I do my DMT session?
About 3 weeks ago.
And it was the most, we'll get onto that later, but it was the most amazing thing I've ever done.
Wow,
ever done. So for those that don't know what a shaman is,
yeah,
how would you describe a shaman?
A shaman or soul surgeon is just an individual that along their own personal journey has found within themselves the capacity to help other people on their journey. And the journey we're talking about is healing. Yeah. Healing and self-discovery and enlightenment.
It was amazing, honestly.
For sure.
And what is that's basically your purpose then, isn't it? I was going to ask you what's your purpose as a soul surgeon, but that's basically it.
Yeah. I think the key thing is just to help people.
Yeah.
Because in reality, so a soul surgeon, a shaman, people that do Reiki and all of those what are known as alternative practices, you know, they're just individuals that actually genuinely in their heart want to help other people. Yeah. You know, but I always tell people, even though like yourself, it was a very profound experience.
Oh, it was amazing.
Beautiful, huh? But I always tell people, at the end of the day, the shaman is almost insignificant. Yeah. Because imagine like you're on a beach, the amount of grains of sand on a beach. The shaman represents 1 grain of sand. So amongst the beach itself, it's insignificant. Yeah. But if you get that grain of sand in your eye, you know it's there. You know?
What was that I said to you guys earlier before we started? Honestly, since doing my DMT ceremony, if I ever get angry, if like anything rubs me up the wrong way, I just get like a vision in my head of me lying in bed, and then it just zooms out to like the space and the universe, and I just realise how insignificant I am.
No, but that's beautiful.
But in the best way.
Yeah, but that's beautiful because that's also the kind of mindset we need for our like daily problems, because people are walking around stressed.
Yeah. Oh, constantly. I'm stressed all the time.
You know, but when we take time to take a minute to look at the situation, first of all the stuff you've had to get through to get to here anyway is probably worse. Yeah. So anything in the future can't be that bad. You know, it's about reflection.
For me, I found it the most like ego dissolving thing I'd ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I love shrooms.
Yeah.
This podcast is so funny, honestly. I can't believe I'm actually saying all this stuff out loud. But we've met before, so you know all this anyway. But like,
Yeah.
I love shrooms. And I think if anyone, I don't know if you would agree with me, but if anyone is looking to, you know, try DMT or even go down the roots of it for whatever reason they see fit, everyone's
Yeah.
got their own reasons. I would say that shrooms is a really good introduction into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done shrooms before, and one of my friends, Darren Springer, he's an expert mycologist. You know, he lectures, and I've done quite high doses of shrooms, like 7-8 grams.
Oh my God.
And it takes you to a totally different part of everything.
Well, I told you before, didn't I? For my dad's 50th, I'm just baiting my family out. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But
Cheers, fam.
for my dad's 50th, I had shrooms from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
They must have just like found their way in my house.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I booked my mum and dad like a Lake District, like in nature, beautiful. And I brought them, and it was like a perfect sunny day. We had like a hot tub and stuff in the garden.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? We're all going to do shrooms today.
Yeah, powerful.
And it was the best thing I've ever done. Like, I'm going to show you guys later, but I've got a video of my mum hugging a tree, and she's like calling it the Joshua tree. And people would probably think that like that's a really weird thing. Like, why would you do shrooms with your family? But I've got so many friends that do shrooms at raves,
Yeah,
and it
festivals,
actually freaks me out. Like,
Yeah.
I could never do that.
Yeah.
I think it's just the wrong time and place.
Yeah, environment is key. Even with all of the plant medicines like ayahuasca, DMT, iboga, mushrooms is also definitely environmental.
Yeah.
But I would say in my experience, I haven't necessarily required a shaman for the mushrooms because they just work differently.
Yeah, you don't need it, do
Yeah,
you? Like, mushrooms are kind of, you do your own thing.
Yeah.
Go for a little walk around the park.
Beautiful. Yeah, but for the other medicines, I would say, you know, I've sat in 16 ayahuasca ceremonies, and the shaman are beautiful because they take you on a journey, and sometimes you need support on your journey.
Yeah.
You know, same with me, you know, like with yourself, if it gets a little bit uncomfortable, we just know
I
what
could
to do.
never have done that without you. Like, should we like explain to everyone what happened? So
Yeah, for sure.
basically, I got Dr. J Soul Surgeon's contact details through a mutual friend, and like, all my friends were a bit wacky. You know, we love to party.
Yeah.
It's not shy. Most people know it. And DMT obviously comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously my best friend Ruby came to you and done a ceremony.
Beautiful ceremony. Yeah.
And as soon as she told me about it, like, I'd been offered DMT before. I remember I told you, like, after like a really long party and like everyone's mellowing down, and like you'll just see people like go and smoke it. But I'm like, I couldn't do it that way. Like, the reason why I came to you is because I was feeling really stressed. You knew I wanted to get a bit more spiritual, like
for sure.
get in touch with like my spirituality a bit more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was kind of looking for a reason to like, hopefully for a sign for the universe. I don't know, I was feeling a bit lost.
Yeah.
And anyway, Dr. Soul Surgeon came round to the house, and I dropped mum off at the hairdresser. So I was like, Mum, you got to go. You don't need to witness this. And I talk people through how the ceremonies go.
Yeah, for sure. So the ceremonies are well structured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would happen is initially we'd cleanse our auric fields. So our auric field is our energetic body that goes around our being, and we cleanse it because it's electromagnetic. It can have negative energy just around it.
Yeah.
So imagine on my way to you, I had some road rage. It would still be around me. Not that I did.
That's
but
me. That's me. Road rage.
We'll cleanse ourselves, our energetic bodies, and we'll cleanse the environment. You know, we'll use traditional resins like frankincense or Palo Santo, and I use a really beautiful one called Black Storax, which comes from Turkey. Yeah. So the first thing we do is smudge. It's called smudging. Yeah. And then after that, I invited you to receive some sananga.
I really want to do it again, guys. This is like, I really want to do it again.
So the sananga is an Amazonian eye drop medicine. So it comes from the Amazon, and it's very intense. But
I know.
Powerful, and it has a really beautiful mechanism. So it helps to clear your third eye, and then it also helps to take some traumas out of your face, because we hold different types of traumas in different parts of our body.
It's so funny. What did you sense of me when you came? Like, what was the energy that you felt when you came?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think, well, initially, you got a really hyper bubbly energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but, you know, not that I'm a judge of anything, but you just sense. So I felt your energy was quite light naturally.
Yeah.
You know, because some people come with heavy energy, you know.
I felt heavy, but you were like, you're not that bad.
Nah.
You could tell I had like a little bit of sadness and stuff. Like,
100%,
you
yeah,
could
for
sense
sure. I
it,
could
couldn't
sense
you?
it for sure. And but I also felt, you know, just through my experience of people and this process, that you had a lot of strong spiritual energy that just had to be cleansed away with cleanse the heavy energy out to bring it forward.
Yeah.
You know, because you have a lot of heavy energy. You've got a lot of beautiful spiritual energy.
I think I struggle to get spiritual, but that ceremony was like mad. And then I think one of the scariest things that people hear about with ayahuasca, DMT, all of that is purging.
Yeah.
Now, you're better to explain what a purge is.
Yeah, so for sure. So what happens is, so the second stage we use a rapé, which is a Amazonian snuff medicine. So the majority of people in my ceremonies will purge after they've received the rapé. Yeah. So the rapé is a combination of different herbs and vines that they dry and bless, and we use a tepi and
It blew the face off of me. I remember.
Yeah. So what I find with the rapé, it connects to your energetic body and it kind of looks for anything that's not really serving you. So the purge itself is the removal of the heavy energy.
Yeah, people get scared. Like, you often hear people speaking about ayahuasca and they're like, oh, I was sick really violently and all this. And I think that puts a lot of people off doing it. Mm-hmm. My purging was just kind of like releasing emotions, wasn't it? Like I was laughing a bit weirdly, and then I was crying a little bit, and like I couldn't control. It's really strange because you can't control it. It just comes out. It flows. Yeah. And we probably sound crazy to people that have never done it, and like I think a lot of people have obviously got their own reservations, of what it is, but it just exceeded all of my expectations. And I think until you do it, like explaining it's only going to do so much to someone. No,
for sure. Because you've got to appreciate this, yeah? So the process is energy forms matter and matter forms solid.
Yeah.
So if you think about the physical body and the physical ailments that anyone can have, it has to start off with an imbalance of energy, yeah? So the purge is the removal of that disordered energy. And like you say, you can purge, you can laugh, you can cry, you can vomit.
Yeah, you can do loads of stuff.
Defecate yourself, you can wee yourself. You know, I actually had a woman come to me one time and she came to the house when I was doing it at the house, and she came through the driveway, she had on white jeans. Okay, I just noticed white jeans. Yeah. And then through her process, she restarted her menstrual cycle.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't have said that would have been pleasant for her, bless her.
No, but you know, we're humble, with no judgment. My wife was there to help tidy her up, fine. But what it was, because the trauma of this particular lady was held in the womb space.
That's mad.
Yeah. So during the process, it had to purge out. That itself.
Makes sense, you know, because it's going off topic a little bit, but a lot of women do obviously stress about a lot of stuff, and our bodies obviously regulate with our hormones and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
So that actually makes sense that she's obviously been holding it in.
And also the woman is the divine power of this planet, because I've been with my wife.
Read it and weep, man.
So I've been with my wife 16 years, and it's only over the last, 7, 8 years, 9 years, maybe 7, 8 years, that I've actually really overstood and appreciated the power of the woman. Yeah, because as a man, as a divine man, I'm obviously divine in my own power, but I do not have the capacity to receive a spirit.
Yeah.
And women receive spirits through pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know, I do not have that capacity. So which means that the woman has to be divinely connected to receive a spirit.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you know.
So do you find then, with that, do you find that men struggle, because we'll get on to like the DMT part of it, like properly, but do you think that men struggle to break through then more than women? Do you find that women break through more easily?
No, I find that both sexes break through equally. But what I do realize is that being the divine woman, what happens after the ceremony is powerful.
Yeah.
You know, because you come in, a woman is like the earth herself, you know.
I got mad visions and stuff. I need to tell you all about it. It's so funny.
You know.
The only way I can describe it is, right, the first part of the ceremony, you eased me into it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So is it I'm using your terminology now.
Yeah.
So what is it? You smoke?
We call them rockets.
Okay.
Yeah,
because they take you to the fucking moon.
So with the rocket as well, the reason I use a rocket, I mean, you can do DMT on a bong and you'll go from 0 to Deep Space Nine very quickly. But it's a ceremony. We want you to have your consciousness with you. And so you can relate what's actually happening and you can identify what's happening.
The way that we done it was much better because I just remembered the second round. We'll get into it in a second, but the second round just like...
bananas, innit? So with the rocket, you know, I look at your height and weight ratio and if you have experience of smoking. So with you, I'm sure it was like, let's get to 5 and then see where we're at.
Yeah.
So as you take each pull, you hold it in to my count and then you release. So as you get to 3, 4, you start to feel the journey.
I felt a wee bit tingly.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? And then it was really mellow that one time, the first time. I remember I shut my eyes, you were asking me how I was.
Yeah.
And the only way I can describe it, guys, is like, I was going through like a geometric space.
Yeah.
And see until... I told mum and dad, they were like, you're fucking bonkers. But honestly, like you have an outer body experience. I completely forgot about my body lying on that sofa. Like I was going through a geometric realm, if that's what you want to call it.
For
And
sure.
I felt really safe. There was loads of like vivid colours and like, to be honest, it's actually really hard to recall it how I used to because it feels like it's over so quick.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I seen these, I remember seeing, and I remember telling you, like, I seen these figures, but I knew they weren't there to harm me, and I couldn't really make out what they were. I just knew there was an entity, if that's what you want to call it.
100%, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then remember I told you, I was like, oh, it's going a bit red.
Yeah.
But because I knew that I had kind of done this to myself, that's what I kept reminding. Like, I was like, wait, Shannon, this is your doing. Like, you wanted this to happen. So I just had to keep reminding myself. But I think I played it down really well. I think I took it really well.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I remember you just going, are you ready? And I'm like, I don't know. And then by the end of the second round, but by the end of the second pool, the last pool, sorry, I forgot what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I remember I was just holding this. And to put it in perspective, guys, Dr. J's soul surgeon was, and you have to wear white. And why do we wear white?
White is like, it really promotes a rebirth experience.
Yeah.
It's very angelic, if in such terms. And it has a purity with it from a vibrational point of view.
It keeps evil away, they say, don't it?
Yeah, and it wards off, so even though, I mean, I've had people fly in all kind of colours, but through the experience, we know that if you make it ceremonial and you wear white, it's going to be a more powerful experience.
I went all white. I even cut the tags off of what I had on. So I was like, we don't want anything here. I wanted the full experience, but I remember, like, put it in perspective, guys. We've got like really beautiful, like, spiritual music on. And he's with me and I'm doing the last drag and everything that I know that ceases to exist, it vanishes. Like, I remember you got like a luminous paint on your face.
Yeah.
And then you just speckled off into dust.
Beautiful, huh?
It's the only way that I can describe it. And then I kind of like knew that I needed to lie down. I was like trying to lie down. And I just felt it was like vibrations were going through my whole body. And basically my trip, to describe it, is I seen like this big old green lizard. And I had a lizard, so lizards don't scare me. Like, I wasn't scared at all, guys. I shot myself a little bit. Like, because it's so intense.
Yeah.
And then I seen these beings, and it was all colours. Colours you've never seen before. Like,
super
you can't
vibrant,
even...
right?
Yeah, you can't describe them. Colours, shapes, and then this lizard walking towards me, and then these tribal beings. And remember I said to you, they were trying to hand me something.
Yep.
and I didn't quite know what it was, but it was like a lotusy flower in their hand.
Yeah.
And they weren't trying to get me to force it. They were just like, take
Asking
it.
to accept it.
Yeah, follow me around. And then they kind of turned their way. And then I seen this crystal clear sunrise, sunrise. And I just remember going, wow, wow. Like, and I was trying to explain it. But if I didn't have you there, I don't know how anyone would have coped with that.
So with that lotus, I mean, that's a beautiful experience, but just for your viewers, just to have a little bit more insight. So they was giving you a lotus flower.
Yeah, from what I can remember, it was like on the palm of their hand, and they were following me around, and like, when I tell you that these were beings, like it's anything more, there's nothing more real. Like this is shrooms on times a million. Like
for sure.
Even acid, like I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with acid. Acid's very intense. But this is like you are out of your body, you are somewhere else. Like and it's the only way I can describe it.
The lotus flower represents rebirth.
There you go.
Because the lotus flower starts its life in the swamp, the darkness of the swamp. And as it becomes reborn, or as it emerges from the swamp, it emerges with beauty. So it's
nothing will ever prepare any of you guys for it until you do it. But I had such a beautiful trip. Yeah. I remember you left, I went to the mirror and I was like pulling my face and like seeing if I was still here. But it was funny because when you do shrooms, people that do shrooms know, like the earth in the room, like everything breathes.
Yeah.
The plants breathe. This blanket will be breathing.
Yeah.
Like it's the most incredible experience. But I remember when you left, like the room was still a bit
breathy.
And then I had, it's so funny. I fell asleep one of the nights, and with my eyes closed, I seen these like. Now I don't know if it's because I was watching Joe Rogan too much.
Yeah.
And like I just got into my own head a little bit, but I seen these like faint gnomey figures.
Yeah.
And then there was loads of other little subtly things. Like I really noticed like the geometric shapes basically everywhere I go.
Yeah. This vibration, this 3D, 4D vibration, that the physical realm is all made up of geometry, you know?
So what do you make of DMT then? Like for you, is it spiritual? Like obviously there's a lot of science stuff going about with it at the minute.
No, for sure.
But what do you make of it? Why do you do it?
Yeah, I think that DMT is a divine sacred medicine that is used for healing.
I agree.
And it's also used for insight, you know. And I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about a lot of the science of it, yeah.
They love to talk about the science. I've got notes of like NN
dimethyltryptamine, and you've got 5-MeO dimethyltryptamine. But the science is important to some.
Of course.
But that allows you to think. But this is a feeling.
Spiritual. It's a spiritual thing.
So when you was talking about when you was in this other space.
Yeah.
So the belief is your physical vessel is still here, but your spiritual body is somewhere else.
Feel it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel my body. Like, it wasn't like I was lying there, closing my eyes, like, oh, I'm in Lululand or whatever. I completely forgot that my physical body was anything.
Yeah.
And, like, the beings around me were just so, like... For me, I got what I needed from it. Like, I feel like when people do it, you go into it with your own intentions and things like that. But for me, I came out so much clarity. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
And like, I think obviously right now it's like very trendy.
Yeah,
because
it's trendy a lot. But I think that we can't lose sight of the actual value of it in terms of healing. So there's a company not far from here. They've got a license from the government to do clinical trials on the use of DMT.
But why?
So now what it is, because that's going to be a very structured medical kind of process.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not going to have a shaman, you know, so they're going to have a therapist sitting in the room with them, or that's what they're doing.
Probably has no idea what being in a DMT trip is like.
And not only that, they probably maybe haven't considered that the influence of the therapist can influence the journey.
Of course.
You know, because we've all gone through X amount of traumas in our lives. So, okay, so this company's doing this. My question is, how do you get a license to do that?
I know.
Fine. And then, even though I believe, not that my belief is important, that their base concern is to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens when it becomes in that kind of regime? People will make, if they get approval, people will make a lot of money.
Of course, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, and then what happens to the indigenous people with their indigenous practices? So the process ultimately will become bastardized, for sure. But ultimately, if it helps people...
This is one of the questions that I wanted to get to, though, because we spoke about this when we first met, didn't we? It's like, how do you define illegal and legal?
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people that don't know, we all make DMT in our bodies.
Yeah.
Every mammal makes DMT. Plants make DMT.
Fish, plants, bird, the whole vibration.
Everything makes DMT. So it's like, if we produce it, why is it illegal?
Exactly. It's like making your blood illegal. Yeah.
Isn't it? Basically.
And then one of the things that you'll find when you start going within yourself and becoming yourself and not being a construct of the vibration is that illegal and legal doesn't mean right or wrong.
And I 100% agree
Why?
with you with
Because
this.
slavery was legal. War is legal. But is it right, morally right or wrong?
No.
So that's why when you come within yourself, you will know what's right for you. You know?
100%. But you've got, the question for me is like, even like, so DMT is obviously like the strongest psychedelic drug, right?
Yeah, very
but
powerful.
like even with shrooms, they're doing all these testings and stuff, and like it's proven that it helps people.
Yeah.
So why is it illegal? I get what they mean sometimes with like maybe controlling it. Like you can't have everyone walking about like stroomy or whatever, but like I just don't understand. Like for me, my biggest beef is alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
We've got alcohol there. It looks pretty. It's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
But it's one of the poisonous things that you can put in your body, and you can it's so easily accessible.
available. So Shannon, I think what it is as simple as this, yeah? In the 60s, they had these big propaganda campaigns against cannabis.
Yeah.
40 years later, the amount of companies that have industrialized and are producing cannabis and cannabis-related products, there's a market, there's a massive financial market for it. So, you know, all this illegal and all this propaganda, when you break free from that, you'll see where it's for you and the benefits for you, you know. But the general consensus is only general, you know. You have to operate from yourself.
I just think it's a really strange world. You can fly to Amsterdam, buy shrooms. I think Canada's legalising a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we always fall behind a little bit. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people think if you do DMT and you do shrooms, you're a bit wacky, or it's associated with like a rave drug, or...
Yeah. But that's just
It's
down
not.
to, that's miseducation, you know. So just imagine there are 10 people in this room and all 10 people have done the medicines, whether DMT or mushrooms. When they go out of this room into the world, they're not going to accept certain information that they're being given because they know, hold on a minute, that's not right. So it gives you the capacity to expand your perspective, you know? So your perception is your only reality. So if you're channeled in the information you receive and digest, your world will be as broad as your channel.
Yeah, agreed.
So with the DMT, for example, or a lot of the plant medicines, they not only offer healing, they expand your perception.
Yeah.
So if you expand your perception, you expand your options, you know?
I just think with nowadays, it's very easy to hop on trends and stuff like that. And it's like, I've been doing shrooms for years now. And I remember I told you, I don't know if I can say his name on this, but one of my really good friends anyway.
Yeah.
He has a company. Now, I might end up bleeping this out, but it's my...
Yeah.
And he created it because his brother was suicidal. And nowadays, like, I think a lot of people forget that plant medicines such as DMT, psilocybin, mushrooms, cannabis, they have so much power to help people.
Of course.
Like, we're in a proper epidemic. Is that what you would call it? Epidemic?
in terms of
Like well, I would say pandemic actually.
yeah.
Because
there is an epidemic of mental health illness. Yeah.
Mental health's rising.
Yeah.
Like the healthcare's in crisis. They're seeing like more and more people being diagnosed with mental illness.
Yeah.
And it's like we have the power to literally change it because all these drugs, and I'm not saying everyone wants to do them.
I say medicine.
I say medicine, plant medicine. It's better, isn't it? It's the right term.
Yeah.
They literally are proven to aid depression.
Yeah.
Aid all these mental illnesses that so many people are suffering with nowadays,
For sure.
even stress.
Excuse me.
No,
so I've had a lot of clients that have come with depression and anxiety and other mental health issues. And
I would say I've got anxiety. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I came to you. 100%.
No, see, so a lot of these people have tried different methodologies. They've, if you get prescribed an antidepressant medicine to help you, one of the side effects are depression.
Yeah.
And they clearly illustrate that. It's not a conspiracy. So if you go for an anti-anxiety medicine, one of the side effects is anxiety.
Yeah. So you're literally, you're aiding.
Yeah. So I think the key thing is, they offer an alternative, and that's all you really need is an alternative. Because if this method isn't working for you, there will always be a method that does.
And we're not sitting saying like, oh, do loads of shrooms, do loads of DMT. I'm not saying that at all. I think there's just a huge argument. Like microdosing's obviously a really good way.
Very popular, yeah.
And it's like, for me, I don't even call it plant medicine. I call shrooms food.
Yeah.
Because it grows in the grass. It grows in the earth. It literally grows in the ground. And it's like, how does this little brown thing just do all of this magic?
Exactly.
Magic mushrooms.
It's important. But, I think a lot of what we speak about will come with judgment.
Yeah. I agree.
But the judgment isn't necessarily informed judgment, because obviously the powers of, like propaganda and mindset. But people that have done these medicines, they're the testament.
For me, ayahuasca's a funny one. But you're like an ayahuasca
yeah, I've done it quite a few
guru,
times.
ain't you? And I think it scares me, but I think it's just because with every 10 good stories you hear, you always hear one bad, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't believe any of the stories are ever bad.
True, because it's what you need to see.
You always see what you need to see. Even you had a blissful
I had
DMT
an
experience.
time.
I've had people that have had non-blissful experiences, but they've always seen the message and the benefit of it.
Of it.
So it's always important how to navigate your experience.
Can you describe ayahuasca for anyone that doesn't know what it is?
So ayahuasca and DMT both come from the same plant, yeah? But DMT, you smoke it. Ayahuasca is
you drink it, don't you?
You drink it. And so my experience of ayahuasca has always been beautiful, no matter how dark it's got.
Yeah.
Because ayahuasca almost allows you to go deeper within yourself.
More so than DMT, would you say?
Yeah, more than DMT. Now, the longest I've been in the ayahuasca journey is 8 hours.
Okay.
And but it navigates yourself. Because on my first ever ayahuasca experience, it blew my mind because I'm sitting there, and then this voice.
Try and describe it.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Literally nowhere.
No, middle of nowhere. But everyone's dressed in white. It's ceremonial. It's my first time. So the medicine kicks in. So you drink the medicine and you sit in your space. It kicks in. And then as it started to kick in, I heard a voice say to me, "You're arrogant." And I was like, what?
It's like holding a mirror. It's literally holding a mirror up to you.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? Not only said, "You're arrogant. Look how you talk to your wife. Look how you talk to your mum, your brother. Look how you talk to your friends." But I was reflecting on it, what they were saying, and I was upset because I didn't want to be this person who I'd become through life. And I was crying and I was sorry. Yeah, because what happened was when they was telling me this, I started crying. I was really sorry. I didn't want to be this arrogant person.
Yes, it's
and
literally
then,
holding a mirror up to you and just kind of showing you who you are as a person, isn't it?
Right there. And then as I've said the words out loud, I believe, or in loud, I said, "I'm sorry." As I've said that, I've purged and I've purged and I've purged. And when I've looked in the bucket, there wasn't a lot of physical matter, but I know it was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife, being testament to this, will say that I have probably never been as arrogant
ever in your life. Yeah, because it was so funny because I was watching Joe Rogan's one and he seen little gnomes that were going,
Yeah.
fuck you, fuck you. And he was like, he interpreted that as, I'm taking myself way too seriously.
Yeah.
I think why ayahuasca, it just scares me, I think, because I don't know if I want to confront that yet.
But why?
I don't know. I think we all have an idea of what type of human that we are. And I think ayahuasca for me, I don't feel like I'm emotionally ready to experience that yet. And I don't mean it, I don't know how to describe it. I think you've got to really be in the right mindset and be 100% sure of it. Like, we organised to do that DMT ceremony, Christ, ages ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And someone, I don't know why, but someone was like, not yet, Shannon, not yet. And then I was like, oh, and then I got in contact with you again. And I was like, no, it's time.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I done that because I wouldn't have changed that ceremony at all.
Yeah.
Because I was scared. You could sense it.
Yeah.
I was like, I was putting on my pretty face.
Listen, it's not for the faint-hearted,
And then when the lizard was coming, I was like, oh, but I think for ayahuasca, I think I need to stop listening to everyone else's experiences of it. And I think I need to just, when I'm ready to do it.
Yeah.
And I think finding the right, obviously, I'm going to speak to you about it beforehand anyway.
for sure.
But I think one of the other things that we need to mention is please make sure that when you're doing this, you find the right shaman.
Yeah.
You find the right sanctuary, retreat, whatever you want to go to.
Yeah.
Because you were just in Iceland, weren't you?
Yeah. I was come back from Iceland, landed yesterday, and I was running some ceremonies over there. Yeah, it was really good.
How was it?
Beautiful. Really beautiful. And I think what you're saying is correct. See, what happens is you have to find the right people to do anything with.
Yeah.
Some more time, you're kind of guided towards them anyway.
Well, for me, it was Ruby, wasn't it? Ruby was like,
all
Shannon,
through
we've got,
connecting,
and Michaela and everyone. So
Yeah,
like we
everyone
already
come
had
through.
mutuals.
Yeah, which is really good. And but people always want to approach these medicines when they're in their best possible place. But the medicine will work with you wherever you're at.
Yeah.
So if you're on a low, it will just bring you back to yourself. If you're on a high, it will give you more insight. Because it's all about love. Love is love. It's all about love.
And would you agree that, like, I remember I said to you, I'll never take shrooms at a rave, right?
Yeah.
Ruby does it all the time. Sorry, I'm beating it out. But it freaks me out,
Bleep,
right?
bleep.
I'm like, nah. Like, I have to be in a really safe space.
Yeah.
People I love in a room. I get wigs on. We put wigs on. We dress up.
Yeah.
We put our favourite music on. We'll go for a walk. But I do feel like they are a reflection of what you feel like. I would never do shrooms if I felt uncomfortable or not in the right mindset, because I feel like psychedelics are you. I don't know if you'd agree with that,
100%.
but it's like your trip is you. What you see is you. And I don't think people realise that. And I think I asked you this before, but as a shaman, you obviously have to absorb everyone's energy.
For sure.
Like after our ceremony, I felt amazing.
Yeah.
But God, did I sleep like a baby that night? Like, because I was so emotionally charged up. You've got to absorb everyone's energy. What happens when someone is like freaking out in front of you? What happens when someone does not like what they see? Because there's no escaping it. We know that.
We just have to give them support. Obviously, I'd say 1 in every 50 people have a little bit of a, you go to them, you give them assurance, you speak to them, you might touch their head.
I just remember your feather.
You might fan them down with the feather.
I just remember you took the feather.
Because some people don't want to face themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people come for healing, not judgment. So I've had people that have had some very interesting lives, but they don't come to me for judgment. They come for healing.
Yeah, I can be for healing.
So no matter what happens, no matter what comes up in the ceremony, I'll tell you an example. So many years ago, I had a ceremony with this girl. Yeah, this girl only ever wore black. Like every day, like
wearing black.
I know, hello, but every day. But with this girl, so we had a ceremony, yeah, and then during the ceremony, the divine said, "Touch her back." I'm like, whoa. Boundaries. So then I said, no, touch her back. So I said, excuse me, is it all right if I touch your back?
Back.
She goes, for sure. When my hand touched her spine, it was like, this girl, they said to me, well, what I deduced was, she lost 3 babies. 3. I'm like, wow. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do with this information?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's...
But then I realized I had to maybe deliver it to her. So after her experience, I said, look, it appears that you may have had some losses. Yeah. This girl was crying
her eyes out.
like a release, you know. And then she goes, I've had 2 losses. I thought, okay, massive battle. They said 3. She said 2.
Not bad.
Yeah,
close.
not bad. But then she sobs again and said, sorry, I've had 3 losses. Wow. Yeah. And she was sobbing and she was releasing, she was
just
purging.
Got tingles.
Yes, mad, innit? And then after the session, she actually dressed differently.
She stopped wearing black?
Yeah. So the black is, I mean, definitely in this culture, it's traditionally for mourning. So she stopped dressing in black so much, you know? So she had to release that.
Yeah,
But-
she obviously had it holding in.
But then what happened is, about a month later, I used to do massage, but I don't do it anymore. It's too much hard work. Yeah. But I had a client, yeah, and I was massaging her. I thought, oh, there was no DMT in sight. It's just me in this realm. So I thought, let me touch her back in the same place. Now, the place of the part of the spine that I touched, there's a beautiful diagram. I think I'll show you. It's called the soul. That particular vertebrae is called the soul. So I've touched his client's back now, and I said, oh, it feels like you've had 2 losses. She goes, yeah, I had 2 losses. So the information came from the realms, and you can practice it in this dimension.
And it sounds really crazy because like people are listening to this like, oh, they're wacky, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But honestly, guys, see when you go to the realms, it's, oh, I can't even like, I've got my dad wanting to do it now. He's like, yeah, I'll try it. I'm like, as long as you do it in a safe environment,
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
good for
completely
him.
fine with that. Like if you go in with intention, figure out what it is. But how did you even come to, I should have asked this at the start. Shannon, what's going on? How did you even, like, what made you become a shaman?
Yeah.
How did it come about?
So what happened was, it was never my intention.
And what did you do before?
So before, what happened is I went through a shift around 2014. At that time, I had a milk company. I was manufacturing in Austria. We just got national distribution. So things were looking really good.
Sick.
Yeah. But then I had a health check and it kind of rocked me a bit. Nothing serious. But then I realized I do not want to have anything to do with cow products. Now, we love cows, yeah, but their products aren't good for me. They may be good for some of your people, but they're not good for me. So then I said to my wife, sorry, I don't want to do the company anymore. So I enrolled
Just
in
randomly.
Yeah, just like
How
that.
did she take it?
She's very supportive.
Yeah. No, that's what you need
she
in a
is.
partner.
She's very supportive. And in fact, if it wasn't for her, I would not be where I'm at today because she's had to support my whole journey.
Yeah, because a lot of people would look at that like, oh, you're kind of at your peak, you're doing
Yeah.
really well, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and then you obviously like just want to shut it down.
Yeah,
But
for sure. So then I enrolled in there's a private medical school in London, not far from here, to do biochemistry and nutritional therapy. And then I met this guy, and the synchronicity is he was in the year above me, but he'd come back to catch up on some lectures.
Okay,
Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen him. Yeah, Danny. And and then he got into me. I saw him twice, and he told me about these medicines and
plant medicines.
ayahuasca. He told me, but I didn't know anything about it, so I was curious. And then, cut a long story short, I've ended up in February in Brighton at this guy's house on my own. You know, one girl at college, she gave me the details, and I was scared.
Why?
Because I'd never done any party drugs.
Yeah.
No, my mates were on. It just wasn't for me.
You don't even drink alcohol, do you?
No, I don't even. No, don't even. Well, you know, Christmas might be coming up.
Yeah,
but I'm not a
yeah.
drinker. I'm not historically
You
a
don't
drinker.
sit every weekend.
No,
But, oh
it's just
God,
not for
wish
me.
I could say the same. Terry out drinking for me. Can never say no to a margarita.
Oh, come
it's
on.
tequila.
Yeah, it's
Tequila
not really.
queen.
It's just not been my thing. But so I was scared when I saw the guy, and I said to him, "Look, I've never done any drugs. Blah blah blah." He goes, "It's not a drug, dude. It's a medicine."
I know.
Didn't make me feel any better. Yeah. So we've gone down to Brighton.
You're like, I don't give a shit.
Innit? So we've gone on to Brighton Beach, and it's February, so it's cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's given me the DMT. I've smoked it a couple of times. I thought, ooh. And I smoked it again. And I thought, that's enough for me. Yeah. So I drove all the way down to Brighton.
You
drove all the way, and I had like 3-4 pools on it. But it was beautiful because one thing I did notice in the clouds were full of Buddhas. And they were saying,
Yeah,
welcome.
it's mad how people... One thing I've noticed from like reading up about it and so much and watching so much Joe Rogan is like, even though everyone's trip is different, and this is one thing that we do mention, like, people think, is it the same for everyone? It's not.
It's not, no.
It's not. It's completely different. But there is some consistencies.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I seen a lizard, but then one of my other friends, they said that they seen a snake.
Yeah, the reptile family, yeah,
so
for sure.
There's obviously something going on.
100%.
I believe 100% that I was speaking to spirits.
100%. Yeah,
like, there's no doubt in my mind.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And I'm not a huge fan of like, ghosts and stuff like that. Like I do believe in them a little bit. We're going way off, but like, for me, I am very logical in a sense.
Yeah.
But I 100% believe that. And I think when it comes to DMT, science and spirituality, I don't necessarily see it as a conflict. I don't know if you do.
No, I think it's very symbiotic because some people need the science.
Yeah.
In order
to make it logical in their brain.
Bingo, yeah. So I think it works beautifully. So anyway, I went to Brighton, had a very light experience. 2 months later, I went back again. I thought, nah, come on, bro. Come on, brave up. You know what I'm saying? When I had that second experience, oh my gosh.
Was that your breakthrough, is what you would call it?
It was a massive breakthrough, like a massive breakthrough. I've felt my spiritual body leave.
Yeah, but that's what happened to me, like outer body.
Proper outer body. And I've arrived in this metaphysical space and there was about 30 odd people.
Yeah, what did you see? Tell me.
It's beautiful. So as I've come into this space now, and then the first thing I noticed was someone said, oh, he doesn't know where he is. I'm like, oh, they're talking about me. Okay. And then this beautiful woman,
I've seen a beautiful tribal woman.
Beautiful. She came to me, yeah. But the first thing that kind of made me think, okay, what's going on? As she's come to me, I've said to her from inside, not from my mouth, I've said to her, what about all the bad things that I've done? Now I'm talking like, bad in the sense of like, cheating on women.
No, but that's your own.
Yeah, I haven't done nothing major bad.
Yeah, I can tell you're not a bad person.
But it's bad because obviously my internal self knows right from wrong.
What would I call that? Now, why can't I think of the word? Regrets.
Perhaps, yeah.
Is that more what it was?
Yeah, I think some of it's regrets, but I think it's some bad things, because, morally bad things, yeah. But as I've said that, I'm like, oh, because I felt exposed.
Yeah.
But
just sitting in disgust.
Yeah, like, oh my God. Like, wagwan. But she says to me, look, we feel your pain and we feel your shame, yeah? So it kind of gave a slight comfort, yeah? Then this older guy bounces forward and goes, who's going to tell him about smoking cigarettes? I'm like...
Did you used to smoke?
Yeah.
Did you?
But then everyone was saying to the guy, leave him alone, he's just got here. Why are you leave him alone? I'm like, listen, I'm sitting there like, what's going on? Yeah. And then another thing that happened that made me laugh was after the confusion had died down a piece, someone over this part of the experience said, oi, shut your Jamaican mouth. I started laughing, yeah. And then the woman came back, yeah.
This is all in your trip?
All in my trip. And then the woman came back and said, what? You don't think we've got a sense of humour as well?
We need to do round 3.
Mate, that solidified it. That's for me, because people don't normally associate humour with spirituality. It's cool. It's very like, very zen.
Yeah.
But the fact that the woman says, after that joke, the woman says, what? You don't think we have a sense of humour as well? Breakthrough. Wow. And then I done ayahuasca for the first time the following week.
Where did you do it?
The ayahuasca?
Yeah.
In the UK.
Did you?
Yeah, we've got a UK
So they've got
collective.
like the UK ones.
There's a lot of places in the it's when you get involved in this kind of world or this community, you'll find that there are a lot of people helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's so many groups of healers out there.
I mean, I microdose.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That helps me a lot,
Yeah.
especially since the show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's very easy to get into your own head when you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And now that I've done the DMT ceremony, I don't think I'll ever look back.
Never look back.
Because it honestly is. It's like you get from it what you need, but it does hold a mirror up to you.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I'm going to blow my own trumpet a little bit.
Go on.
I think the reason why I didn't have a bad trip was because morally, I feel like I am a very good person.
Yeah, I believe
Like, I'm how I treat people is very like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I'm not one for telling lies, like even little white lies, like I can't do it. So I think morally, I'm there. Like I know I'm very sure of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Blowing smoke at my own arse, eh? But it's true.
Beautiful,
Like,
but why can't you celebrate yourself?
like one of the reasons,
know?
remember I said to you, I came to you because I was really struggling because I get very frustrated when people don't treat me the way that I treat them.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest things that I struggle with in my life.
Do you remember what I said?
Yeah, but no, but I don't know if anyone can like resonate with it because it really frustrates me. Even my closest friends, sometimes they do stuff and I'm like, oh, why you
would
got to
you
do that?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, you're denting how I like when I put you on a pedestal and I love you and I do all of these things.
Yeah.
And then you do something, I'm just like, oh, bro,
Yeah.
why you got to do that?
But remember, it's the fact if we pedestal anybody, we're only going to set them up to fail.
True.
Because
and I think pedestal was the wrong word. I think
you
like
love and respect them. And
and then I'm like, they know well and truly who I am. They know what I'm like. And it's not tiptoeing around me, but I just think when I treat people that I love to such a standard, because it's just who I am.
Beautiful.
Like that's one of the reasons why I struggle with, and that's one of the main things that I got from my trip, I think, was like, you're fine, we've got you. That's what I got, was like, we've got you, don't worry. Whoever needs to be in your life will be in your life.
Always.
You can't stress about it. But that's one of the things that I really struggle with is like, why did you treat me like that? Because I would never dream of doing that to you.
Bingo. So in my book that's coming out next year.
Plug it. Tell the people.
Well, just in case.
Tell the people.
This is not a complete version, but the book is Chakra DNA. Yeah, Chakra DNA.
In it.
Yeah. So it's a self-healing book. But the first section of this book deals with what you're saying now. It's about what is your nature. Yeah. Because some people don't believe in Chinese zodiac astrology or
what
numbers.
What is that? I'm the tiger.
I'm a tiger as
We're
well.
the tigers.
Yeah, we're the tigers, yeah. But when you go through the process, if you go through the process and see there are 12 Chinese zodiac signs with 5 elements, that makes 60. You've got 12 zodiac signs that we work with. You've got 31 personality numbers. You've got 14 life path numbers. You've got 14 soul urge numbers. When you do that combination, your nature is 1 in 4.3 million before you're nurtured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it will say to you, so we're tigers, for example. So the Chinese tigers, there's information about them. Yeah. What they're like. With the zodiacs, there's information. With the numbers, there's information. So we're just bringing all these traditional internal arts and all these external arts into a simple format so you can look at it and be like, okay, actually, that person is mutable, or they're a fire sign, but it's a combination. Like if you just use a zodiac, it won't go deep enough for the individual.
It's very, you find that, like I told you, I'm Cancer rising and sun, but I'm Sagittarius moon.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel in conflict with myself a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're two completely different signs.
But they are you.
But they're me.
Yeah.
But it makes complete sense because I love to travel. Yeah. I like being tied down in a sense that, like, I love my relationships with my friends, my boyfriend, my mum, my dad, everything.
Yeah.
I'm very family orientated, but I also get very bored easily.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got a big sense of travel. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And that makes sense to me, but it doesn't really tell me what I need to do. It doesn't tell me enough.
Well, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, if you go over it briefly, so the fact you're Cancerian, that means your nature is cardinal. Cardinal is bossy. Very assertive. Because the Cancer sign brings in the summer.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing in a whole season, you have to know what to do and be authoritative.
I am very authoritative, though, but I feel like I have lost it a little bit.
It's always going to be with you.
And it comes out when it needs to.
Exactly. So with this book, so we called it Chakra DNA because it's going to work your chakra system from a DNA perspective.
And what's chakra? What's that?
So your chakras are your energetic bodies within your body.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are like 114 chakras in this human body, or just above it, around it. But we look at the 7 cardinal chakras. We look at your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plex, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. Because not only are they energetic bodies, they have information, and you can look at them from a time point of view.
Yeah.
So anybody that's interested in the finished works can go onto my website.
When is it going to be finished?
First quarter next year.
I can't wait to read it.
But if anybody has interest, they can go onto my website and register their interests on there, or hit me up on the gram.
You know that I'll leave everything.
Yeah,
and this is what I mean. I'm not ranting and raving to tell everyone to go and do DMT. That's not the point of this. For me, I love doing shrooms.
Yeah.
I'll always continue to do them. My family know that I do it. I'm very safe when I do it. There's so many benefits from it. I mean, like 1 in 4 of us suffer from mental health
at least
issues. At least 1 in 4 of us. And they say that DMT and psilocybin, all of it, that it basically acts as serotonin. It's very similar.
It's very
dopamine.
And the beautiful thing about the plant medicines, there's no adverse effects.
Exactly.
You know, because the amount of people that are addicted to pharmaceutical drugs.
Major.
You know, which is how it goes. It's just how it goes. But with
it's
these
the system that people are in, unfortunately, isn't it?
And obviously, we don't make judgments what people do, because some people need these things until they don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the pharmaceutical industry has a purpose.
Of course it does.
And we have a purpose. So the key thing is you use your internal will to navigate which one's for you.
So can anyone do DMT? Is there any type of person that can't do DMT? Can anyone do DMT?
Not everyone, because not one thing can be good for everybody. I mean, traditionally, you know, if you suffer from schizophrenia, or if you are on drugs to balance your mental health, then it's not advisable, you know.
Why is that?
Because it can really tip you over one way or the other.
Okay.
You know, everything's about safety first.
Of course.
Because it's all about, so as a shaman soul surgeon, or as a Reiki healer, or as an Ayahuasca shaman, the capacity is to love. So whoever comes to me, I have to do the best I can for them.
You honestly, like, that was the most beautiful experience I've ever had. I'm probably going to make it a monthly thing. We know that, because the first thing I said to you was, how often can I do that? And you were like, Shannon,
calm down, love.
But I think, once every few months, it's good for the soul. But that's why you're a soul surgeon.
The key thing is you will know when you want to do it again.
100%. I mean, I really want to do it again now.
Yeah.
But remember, there was 3 rounds, weren't they? And I only done the 2.
Yeah, but you hit that point of enlightenment on your second round.
For me, it was so intense.
Yeah.
And I kind of took a step back and I was like, do you know what? I don't want to play with fire. I don't want to ruin the experience.
Yeah.
Because I think I was so focused on the fact that I had such a good trip.
Yeah.
That then, your mind can play tricks on you sometimes.
To a degree, yeah.
And then if I go into it and then I'm thinking about bad things.
Yeah.
Which which is
human.
It's human,
these
innit?
things, yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to leave it at that. And
yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying as well. Even though you can do up to 3 rounds, when you know you've hit that level.
Oh, I knew.
I've hit that level in 1 round. I've hit that divine, blissful, knowledgeable, being enveloped with universal love on 1 round, and I thought, cool, I'm done.
But it's very, we need to also know that, what was it that you said to me, that some people don't break through that easily either.
Yeah, and that's another
thing. So not
thing.
to get frustrated.
So when I was in Iceland on the weekend, I had 4 different clients at 4 different sessions, and the last 2 people broke through. The first 2 people...
Did I?
No, but they still purged and had divine healing. But the breakthrough, because I just see it as a gift, because you're here to get healing, so let's do the healing. But when you break through, that's a gift for you,
Because you were like, Shannon, what you seen? And I'm like, oh my God, I see this lizard with all of these things. But no, I think definitely in an era where like mental health and stuff is it's such a tricky subject.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to get some healing, please go to a proper shaman.
Yeah, for
shaman.
Shaman. What is it? Potato.
I think shaman sounds better, but I think it's just because I'm Scottish and I butcher everything. Shaman. It sounds like Shannon with an M. That's why I'm like, shaman. Maybe that's my destiny.
That's beautiful. We might well be.
Maybe.
You know? But I've just thought, let me quickly tell you about the first healing session I ever did.
Yeah, tell me.
So my friend Lefty, Kevin, he's used to be from Stonebridge. He was part of the USG Rat Collective, like with K, Coke, Squingy, and so he's like. But coming from Stonebridge, they grow differently. They grow very hard.
Yeah, I think a lot of men, even now, like men are very closed off.
Yeah.
Like to speaking about emotions.
Yeah, but not only that, their environment dictates a lot of heaviness. Because so to cut a long story short, we connected after my first ayahuasca ceremony. I'm still just there for the ride.
Yeah, you're not doing any. You're not practicing any of it yet.
I'm just there for the ride. So we've gone over to Hounslow Heath, and it was a pexing hot day. Yeah, so we're sitting there. I said, "Bro, this is divine medicine." He's like, "Whatever, bruv." I started smoking it. Yeah, I goes, "Bro, it's not like smoking weed, you know."
Yeah,
like,
you can't do it like that.
Nah, but he's smoking it, and he's hit the zone. Bing. He passed away 2 years ago. Rest his soul.
Oh.
And, not because of the DMT.
No. I was going to say, you said that the wrong time.
Well, we edit that, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've gone Hounslow Heath, and then he's smoking it, and then he's hit the zone. And then I've took the DMT off him. I started smoking it, because we're still tourists at this time. And then I heard a voice, "Go and make him comfortable." I'm like, what? I hadn't even moved at the time. So I've crawled over to him, took off a couple of layers, and laid him out like a starfish. He's gone, he's relaxing. As I was about to go, they said, "Now look at his heart." Yeah. I'm like, I'm going with it now. I'm looking over his heart space, and it looks very dark. You know, if you close your eyes tight,
yeah.
It's like that. But I didn't feel any evil. I just felt
very
trauma,
dark.
I felt trauma. And then they said, "Right, now massage his heart." I'm like, what? So as I put,
invasive.
you know what I'm saying? So
massaging his heart.
So as I put my hand down to his chest, the second it touched, bing, they started channeling through me, yeah? And it was a vibrational language I was not familiar with. But I'm just going with it, yeah? But as I'm massaging him, he's being more relaxed in his face, and I can see 1 or 2 tears coming down. I'm not interested. They said, "Right, now look at his heart." And it was glowing. You know, like if you look at the light, it was
like my
glowing.
sunrise. Remember I said to you,
like
in my second trip, the tribal men turned and they were like sitting on a window ledge like this. And I just seen this, the most purest sunrise I've ever seen in my life.
And that was like his heart, yeah? And
almost like a glowing star.
Beautiful. So I've left him then, and then I had tried to go far, I didn't go anywhere. I was like, fine. But then, so it wasn't about me.
It was about him.
So after experience, he sat up, yeah? And like he was one of the hardest guys I ever knew. Hard, yeah? Reliable, loyal, but hard, yeah? He goes, "Bro, I don't know what you did, but thank you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Raw."
That's all I done to you was thank you, remember? And I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. So with him, with Lefty, he was the first tangible healing session
that you ever had.
Yeah. So he's passed away now through other reasons about 2 years ago. But yeah, he was cool. He was good people. That was the first session ever.
At least you've got that beautiful memory with him.
Yeah, beautiful memory.
That's what I mean. Like you've got that, and that's your job now, is like healing people.
Yeah.
And you do it full time, don't you?
Yeah, more time, yeah. I do have other interests. I mean, like the book is taking a lot of time at the moment because we just want to get it out there because it gives people a skill set, some tools that they can use for their benefit. Yeah,
because one of the things is that I was reading up a lot about all of it, but a lot of it's scientific.
Yeah, for sure.
And like...
Yeah.
Unless you're sciencey. I mean, I got an A in chemistry back in the
well
day.
Well
I couldn't tell you anything though. I can't even say that. NN, what is it?
NN dimethyltryptamine.
Dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah, so dimethyltryptamine.
Dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah, tryptamine.
Tryptamine.
Yeah, tryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine. Yeah,
I had a great trip, don't worry. So I know how to say that.
The science is good for the people that need it, but the science then becomes a bit restrictive. Because if the science is important for, I mean, physical health or whatever, but this is a feeling thing. This is a love thing.
Unless, this is what I mean, like you can't even comprehend it until you do it. But I wasn't spiritual before, but I feel like it's made me really like question what I am on this earth, what we are on this earth.
Yeah. What we here for.
What we here for, what is life. I mean, when I'm fucked up anyway, sorry mum and dad, but when I'm pretty fucked up, you'll hear me like on the beach or like in Costa Rica, like we had been at like some mad jungle rave.
Yeah.
And like we got back and our friends Christian and Max, they were smoking DMT and they were like, do you want it? And I was like, no, it's not the time, not the time. And I just remember like lying on the beach like, what is life? That's my one question all the time is like,
yeah, well, it's a beautiful
what is
experience.
life?
It's a beautiful experience.
What is, I remember you were telling me that you're a minister.
Yeah.
Is it minister?
Mini star.
Mini star.
Yeah, I'm a mini star.
Oh.
So like a few years ago, I was thinking about it like many years ago, but then I revisited it a few years ago. And so the whole motivation behind it was, whenever I've gone to a funeral, it's always been a priest or someone of some description.
Yeah.
They do great jobs, but I thought, well, there's not really a heart connect, really. They do them day in, day out. So then I thought to myself, so yeah, I took the steps and connected with the Universal Life Church, because the reason I like them is because it's not about denomination.
Yeah.
It's about love.
It's not about religion or anything like that. It's literally comes out of love.
So so this year in March, my father passed away, and it was beautiful. No, thank you very much. But it was beautiful because it was his time.
Yeah.
But the beauty was also in the family coming together, and I conducted his service in the church and conducted his committal at the graveside.
But that to me, that just shows you what like a strong human you are, because that's gonna be not a lot of people. I could never do that. Yeah,
it was interesting, but I think, and the maddest thing is, I've only done funerals. I mean, I want a wedding. If everyone's getting married, holler me, yeah.
And because it's going to be a different type of energy, isn't it?
For sure. So even when my friend's son passed away, he was 19 and it was very tragic circumstances. She asked me to perform his service and it was beautiful. Because not everybody is religious. Not everybody's going to go to the church for a funeral.
Yeah, this is the thing.
That are about this kind of lifestyle, they need a focal point to go to.
Pretty sure for my grand's funeral, I'm pretty sure we got a minister. I don't think we could, because my grand wasn't religious either.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we didn't get like I was so young though. I was like 10.
Oh, yeah.
But this is one of the parts of life, isn't it?
Beautiful part of life.
And that's the thing with DMT. I think we can end it on a note of literally saying it's almost, and this, I think it might scare people when you say it though, it almost is like a rebirth and a death experience.
Exactly that.
Without scaring you guys.
Yeah, because what we know about death is not what death is.
Exactly.
What we know about condemnation to hellfire, from my experience,
we have no idea what it is.
It's not. So with these plant medicines, they take you to that experience.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. But thank you so much
for
welcome. Today.
You're welcome.
I think we've all educated everyone.
Yeah, best we can.
I think so. My stomach's grumbling really bad. Oh my God. But no, thank you for coming in.
No, you're welcome.
And I'm going to see you again anyway for loads of ceremonies.
God willing.
That's us linked.
My G.
But make sure, guys, that you check out the book. I'll leave all of Dr. J Soul Surgeon's bits down below for you guys to check out. And if you ever want to explore any plant medicines, here's your man.
Who will advise you.
Exactly. Take you on a spiritual journey.
Of advice.
I know 100% do it if you want to do it, because I've done it and it's changed my life.
Ashe.
And it's going to continue to change my life.